Aqui estamos aí, Deusão.
לחצי חצי. Das war der Machgerast. Okay, jetzt schauen wir uns ein Ziel. Kasern leider. Das machen wir wieder. Okay, das jetzt mal.
So you can hear me?
Yes.
So you can hear me. Check it out on YouTube. If you hear me too. Yeah?
Yeah?
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Here we go.
וואש על ידי כל הלשון. תבחר את הנושא של השיעור שהנכם עומדים למסור. בשיעור בנושא ספר מאור עיניים. בחרתם להקליט לתוך שיחות באנגלית. וישמע.
Koach, Hapoel,
Recording in progress.
הנכם עוברים למצב המתנה עד לתחילת השיעור. כאשר הנכם עוברים כרגע לשידור. לסיום נתקו את הקו.
Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shloime. English, Menachem. Today we want to speak about a concept that all the Swedish students speak about it, which is called Koach, Hapoel, Banifel. Koach is energy, Hapoel is called the motor, and the nifel is what you're trying to move from its place. Behind every nifel, everything that is moving, there must be behind it the certain motor, which is the poil, and the poil behind it goes on energy. And the more energy you have, the more greater the engine is, the more it can do, the more purified the energy is, the more better the work, high quality. And of course, because he created that world too. There are all kinds of cycles running in this world, which, as we called it, Zman, time, people, and places. To start off with places, if you want to do This heißt es, we said it's called construction and development. A development of oilam, of place. There's a certain time that it takes to develop a certain thing. It's a question, what do you want to develop? What date you are? Today things are trying to be developed much faster, much cheaper, what
China.
then is the time just doesn't budge. It's always on the same place. Not only doesn't it budge, the sun, in order to get back to the same place where it starts, you need 28 years of cycles in order to get back. So that's taking a long time till it's circling around itself. Then you have the moon, also has its cycles. Chazal say that the whole certain things in creation, according to the Mashakavi Chazal, when the moon should be. But again, the moon itself, you don't have any steady. It comes once in 4 years, once in 3 years. Chachamim decided to make it a leap year in order to catch up with the lunar, they call it the sun. Lunar year. Now we come to the human being. We'll even say up to the human being, we'll call it the daimon, the tzamech, chai. They all have their cycles. The last one was before the human being. It's called chai. When it says shah b'yomai kur shah, as what are you talking about? Shah b'yomai kur shah, small and gets bigger. We're talking about the IQ and the EQ that the shah has. That doesn't change. That just from day one to day two stays the same thing. It might get a wider, bigger dimension. I would call it the quality of the IQ, which is intellectual part, and the EQ, which is the emotional part. They all stay the same. The whole universe, kol maluchim.
It doesn't have any elevating.
No elevation, as it is created, but elevation and IQ and EQ. Some have it quality, sometimes in the quantity, but in the IQ, the emotions and the intellectual, the way they set, it goes, it doesn't. You see a malach, malach doesn't do two shlichas at once. We do one. We're multi, what's that? Multitask creatures. And the more a person builds the IQ, the more a person builds the EQ. You can't use the IQ without the EQ. You can't use the EQ without the IQ.
So the box doesn't change.
Huh?
The box doesn't change.
The box of the IQ and the box of the EQ, the same box from the beginning to the end. But it's something internal, we call it pneumics. Which actually, that is the place that a person grows, starts growing actually. The Shiur calls it. A person is, from day one, he gets his, how do you call it, computer, you have everything in there, in the hard disk, the whole programming and the whole, whatever. Software, they call it. They call it Dor Chamesh, Dor Arba, raising it up to. Samsung has its names and Apple has its names. And it's always another, I'm sorry, I don't know if it has EQ, but IQ is getting, that's the whole AI. It can only be up to IQ with the EQ. But the human being, he's born on day one with all the Koach, we call it, all the strength, all the hardware, as you said before, for all the IQ that he needs in this world, and all the EQ that he needs. And also, that means it's all up there in the hard disk, and you have to learn how to get it out of there. That's what you're learning about high tech. You're learning all.
So you're not getting updates from outsourcing.
You're getting
You
out
get
there.
drugged with updates. Everything is inside. You need to learn how to open
So
the boxes. Of
so
the
the two parts of updating: a goy and a yid. The goy is updated. His updating is coming from within himself. It doesn't come from out of him. A yid, his updating comes from chelik elokei mimal, which is updating has much more sources to get to places. Like the Yid, in English they say a Yiddish cup, if you know English. The Yiddish cup, actually, his place where he updates, he gets straight into Microsoft. I don't know who has the highest quality these days, but how quality they have, the quality that a person has with the Wunschlein. The Wunschlein is Ein Sof. Ois and Chesvo. Ois is actually the strength. Chesvo is the simcha, which actually, when a person has all the IQ and all the EQ and knows how to work with it and how to, then he's the happiest person and the strongest person. The person that's missing the IQ or missing the EQ, that's where the people start falling. Or they're missing the strength, or they're missing the simcha because they can't get to it. So the question is, how do we get to that? Ois v'chezel v'mkoim as Yidden were talking about. Ready for the trip? Now, that means the koach that a Yid has is actually called koach Ein Sof. This koach Ein Sof is the more you schlep it out of the koach, you've had to learn the techniques how to get it out of there. It's spoiled, it starts running your engines, and the more is niful, you're able to do things. So let's go a little bit into the Torah. We're up to Parshas Yisro, Mishputim. We have a new guest in the arena, they call it. His name is Yisro. And Shabbos is busy. Shabbos, where'd you fall into this? We're working here already. All today. And you could pop up, you take us a whole passion, even the name of the passion, and you, well, what happening here? So Samus explains it very nice. The Koach, which is the IQ and the EQ of the whole world, is actually nothing compared to the Koach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ein Sof, and never changed. And the more you want to get it, he wants to give it. He has one purpose for this whole thing. Olam Chesed Yidon. He wants to show that he's the one that gives you as much as you want, as much as you need. But he has one condition. Recognize that I'm the one that's giving it to you. Just like you want to hook up to Microsoft or to whatever it is, you have to pay your yearly subscription, and you get updates. And if you don't pay your yearly subscriptions, you don't get updates. You just stay there with the alte Nachman. It's a gamma einer von zweiten, but it's the gamma. It's not the real. It's not the real stuff. That's actually what happens in a human being. All that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants is that he created the world. I created the world. L'chvoidi, berusa, yitzartev, afasisa. The Maggid calls it. That's the whole tanug that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has from the whole creation. I think I said already, the Moshe, the child hides, and the father has a tanug that the child is hiding. I don't know if I said this story last time. The Sfasemas had an Einekel. No, the Sfasemas had an Einekel, called in his granddaughter and told her the Beckish is torn, we have to change the button. And she came back and brought the button, and he said, the Baba is nicht gemacht, you made it, because the Baba would make it complete. That means Shefer gives a person koches to do things, but at the end of the day, he is bounded. he is restricted, he is concealed, we call it these days. What's that?
He is limited.
Limited. Oh. What's this limitation? Why was it limited? So the Prior's, I used to speak about it. There's two types of limitations, which we'll call it in the name of Kabbalah of the Ari, we'll call it Tzimtzum, if you ever heard that name. Limits, concealment, finite, whatever you call it. So, but we'll call it Tzimtzum. There are two types of Tzimtzum. There's one type of Tzimtzum. There are two types of Tzimtzum. There's one type of Tzimtzum, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world. Before that, the world was Ein Sof. Ein Sof is called infinite. Infinite Koach is infinite, called EQ, infinite IQ, and all, even had no names at all. This infinite, we couldn't even name it.
It's completely abstract.
Completely abstract. But once you, so if Ein Sof, once the infinite wants to create the finite will turn into infinite right away. So the Ari figures out, which is called Mafli Lasses. We don't understand how it works, because Baruch Hu made something which is called Tzimtzum. Tzimtzum means that I have to restrict my infinite. But why am I restricting my infinite? Because I want to reveal myself. That means without my infinite, there would never been revealed a finite. Since the HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give you chesed, for example, chesed is like water. Water is very good if you put it into pipes and get it into concealment. But if it's running all over, it sweeps everything away. The same thing as fire. All the 7 traits that are there, which we call it the IQ, or the same thing, the EQ, what we call the IQ. A person is chochmah, has to be always restricted in something which is called bina. You can't person, and then straightforward it's called oiris and kalim. Mm-hmm. The first constrictment becomes oiris, the energy, and then the question is, what are you going to use it for? Using a frigidaire, using it for a car, using it for a plane. So you have all the energy in there. It's just a question what use you're going to do this for. So then everything has, a human being has also the IQ, also the key. So coming back, there's training, and the tzimtzum are there for revealing himself. So because Baruch Hu put together the whole thing, and the thing is working. No, now it comes to you. Says someone knocks on the door, and you're waiting for a big guest, and suddenly someone comes there asking for charity, not on the time he's supposed to come in, whatever you call it, and you get all messed up. So you start restricting yourself not to get angry, restricting yourself to help the person, but you can't help him as much as you want. So actually, the restriction is you're reducing. That means whatever the koachas that you got here, you became overwhelmed. So you have to reduce in order to use it. That means every time when we come to a place which is called in this world a new journey, we'll call it, a new journey in IQ. They have to figure out something. Or a new journey in EQ that have to take something in. Actually, I need a new tzimtzum. I shouldn't get broken my kalim from that, but I also need a new tzimtzum of revealing the koachas that I didn't need till now. Right now, I need it. So the more a person, the Chazal call it, then chumash lemikru. Once he doesn't come to 5 years, you don't start learning Chimish with him. What's wrong? Last week, someone had told me his son went to Hapoel, but he had a Moedike couple. And he wanted to learn very טיsis when he doesn't like the Chayde. They're not learning טיsis yet. There are such a stories Gaman Chazal. But again, the IQ can be built, but the EQ is not built. And mainly what we people are, IQ is built, but a lot of the EQ at the age of 50 can still act like a small child. So where is the problem? So we're not talking about problems and healthy problems and all of that. We're talking about human beings are healthy to all things. But when the minute that this has this procedure that has to, it's from one side you need a new symptom to reveal something new. On the other side, you also have to use a symptom. You shouldn't mess it up too much. So then, only as long as a person doesn't connect back to the one that gave it to him, the one that gave him the original IQ, the one that gave him the original EQ, which is there for you to use. Just you have to go through a procedure till you can use it. Then you're not going to get it. This is where problems start. So we have the Koach, we have the Hapoel, but the nifl that I have to use with the new Koach is a problem. Now we have 3 stages by a person. We have the machshuva, we have the dibur, we have the masa. We call them machshuva and thoughts. You can sit all day, nothing stopping you. You can think about everything. You can work out. And as long as you're not interacting with anybody, the koach and the poel and the nifl are b'shul and b'shalva. Nobody's getting into the way. You can be. You were in New York already. You came back already. You made an exit. And you lost the money. You made again the money, and you're in there. And that's all the games that people are playing all day and night. Why? Because there is no separation between the koach, the poel, and the nifl. Once you has to stand against someone else, it becomes a little bit more tricky. But it's still together, the koach, hapoel, and nifl. The more you start talking to somebody, interacting with someone, then actually you need the IQ for him, and you also need the EQ. Especially the EQ. So 100 years ago, they thought it's the IQ. These days, it's the EQ. I know 100 years from now, they'll think something else. But we as Yidden know, we need also the IQ and also the EQ. That means the only one, not only to give it, it has to be regulated, but it has to be regulated also in such a way that I should get new IQ and new EQ, and not regulated, and also regulated way I shouldn't go overboard with too much IQ and what? Overwhelmed and too little EQ. People, when you stop moving them, they say Chodesh Usa Mator. You know, they never heard that. Chodesh Usa Mator. They don't. That means actually, in order to build, time to go out. I can't. In order to build, one helping out.
So I'm thinking about Avraham Avinu a lot when Eibishter told them, and until Avraham Avinu didn't separate from Lot, God didn't reveal himself to Avraham Avinu. And the Rebbe says that he's wait until they came the right opportunity. The Sibet says
he didn't want to mess it up, because if he would, we said then the Chaim, if Avraham Avinu was sent away Lot, he would mess up the EQ part.
Yeah, so he waiting with the IQ.
Waiting to accept the IQ until he has the right timing to the EQ. That is called savla. That's what you're getting now. We're getting to patience. That's what we're getting for. And what we're over-explaining right now is those moments that someone tells you something you don't want to hear. until you have to accept it and to learn it and get new koiches and believing there is the koiches in there. The Melech calls it Vani b'chazdecho batachti Yoga libi b'shir sechu. Says Rashi on the spot. Vani b'chazdecho batachti. I know the Bnei Shalom, your chesed is unlimited, and you gave me everything that I need, even more than I can use. But anytime I want to use it and I need it, I'll get it. But there's one thing. It takes time till you sign, till you give in to the bank a request for a mortgage, until they check your credits. And here, I don't know what it's called in America, you get an ikroni, how do you call it? A pre-approval. And until the pre-approval, then you have to bring what you have to bring. And they only brought this, you didn't bring that. And if you brought everything, let's see if you really need it now. This is something that goes with the procedure, which you not have to need a lot of savlanut, a lot of elbow room, and a lot of ultimate, and a lot of time for that. But if you have that, but that's the only worker, Busha said, that you must. So let's say you have a person you're at home, and my couple, how do you call it? The English, the spouse is going through a hard time. So where's she going to get that IQ or that EQ? Or where you're going to get the IQ? The man wants more the IQ and see more the EQ, but we both need both. So when they come to you, and I must have then the savlanut to listen. They say listening is just like tears. The person can give it out, but not take it personally. I know I can help just by listening to give koiches to the other side, to the savlanut. That comes, listen, and through you work it out. So this is the time that takes between the koach, which is together with the poel and the niful, till it comes to the new niful and gets its new koaches, but even gets more koaches than was out there before the niful. But to get the niful should get the new koaches, you must have the time, the space, and the people, at the right people, at the right time, and the right words in order to get through to that. But I have no problem with the time, with the people. I know you brought me at the right time. You brought me the right people. And I brought me in the right place, because once I'm busy changing places, changing people, changing times, it's actually I'm running away from my changing, from my savlanut. It's habit, yeah. And that means that in order, the more, as we talked the last few weeks, to be with myself when I'm going through a koach hapoel v'nifel. Suddenly, something overwhelming comes. You shouldn't know what the question is for good thing or not bad thing. Everything that comes overwhelming. So then it's actually a time, as we're talking about the whole time, is let the procedure happen. Klal Yisrael is the only ones, because he tried a few times. Who is the one that can deliver me the goods of what I need to recognition and claim? They're the one that can get my fortune and get my tehillu, get my whatever tehillu is. They're the one that are going to get it. They're the one that are going to talk about it, and the whole world will go after them. As we say, but how will that happen? That will happen only through the Klal Yisrael gets there. I'll be the one that's schlepping everybody along with me. Maher lira is savlanut maher. That's what it says. That means, so we have to go through something which is called nesoin. What is nesoin? From one side, it looks like I don't have the koaches, I don't have the right people, I don't have the right time. That is the poel or the nifel. But in koach, ani bechazdechu betachti. That's what we have to use in those minutes that were in between the times. What does chazdechu mean? Chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is endless, timeless. It's all in there, as much as you need. But we have to go through a tzimtzum. A tzimtzum means two things: a restriction that be able to bring it out, and a restriction you shouldn't get overwhelmed. That means these two restrictions, what we need from you is called something patience. It's called sablanut. Take your time, and don't take your time too much, and you have to keep on doing what you have to do, and don't reduce, just let things happen. And things do happen. That is the tricky thing, which the Busher usually says, without a tzaddik emes, we call that. He calls, what is tzaddik emes? He calls it the person that went through all these things in the world. So Moshe Rabbeinu was a Zelo Mazeh from Bilam. We talked about it, we speak in the past. So he was able to be the leader from all of this. And you also need company. So we got Klal Yisrael was the ones who picked out and had to go through a procedure. What procedure? They have a nifel to get the whole world into the system. They are the pa'alim, they are the ones that are going to do it. And the koach, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you the koach. But if there's disconnected, the koach from the poel from the nifel, that's where the trouble starts. That means if you're not connected to the one that's giving you the koach, or the one that has to get from you is not connected to you, that's something very we must do, which is called shulam. Shulam means actually when a person has the sablanut, has believes in the chesed, then the capability for the koach to come over to the poel would happen, and you'll also have the stability to get there. But if you're not ready to be sablan, patient, you won't get this new koach. Automatically you separate yourself from your koach, and you'll separate yourself from the ones. So actually when a person comes into a certain problem, if it's problem too much or too little, makes no difference. In order to adjust himself to that matzah, he must wait and not just go into, these days call it meditation, you call it mindfulness, no anymore, breathing. It's all actually being, it's all actually mikveh and Shabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, and feld and chavayim and singing. It's all things that are actually there. It's just let things happen, and then it'll come into place because it's all there in potential. We have to get it out there. Which the Busher calls it very simple. Without any pain, things don't stop moving. No pain, no gain. We know every leida, every birth comes with a pain from one side because we're getting a new IQ, a new EQ, a new embodiment. We're getting a whole thing, and this is a work, and that's actually what HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world for, in order to get to such a way that to get the full environment that can be with all the I can, all the EQ can be. Were you ever in a surrounding that people were in a less EQ than you? Yeah, never. So, but you were ever in a surrounding that people were more EQ than you, and looking down and you that way, and you were looking up, how do I get up there to the 20th floor? Says the Bush, that's what happened when Mashiach will come. Actually, the more we had the patience to build that IQ, the more we had the patience to build that EQ, actually everything will be out there for sale, but you'll be able to get everything, but if you worked on it here to reveal it, then you built up a whole project and you can sit there in the lounge, but I'm sorry, can I see a membership card? You plots away. What? I was traveling I was also traveling, but once I took this airline, that airline, this airline, this, and this track, that track. I was never consistent. I wasn't consistent.
portfolio.
So I can't get in. I'm just using the motion. And Bolshevik uses something that to say that the Bain Shloim has Rachmanis on us. It's not bringing the Geila so fast. He doesn't want us to suffer so fast. If he didn't do the works, he's out there. The Kalina calls it that that's like a king wants to make a party, and everything is ready, and the children are asking, "No, Daddy, what's going on?" Instead of a few guests coming, they're on their way, and they know ready. What's now? I don't. I full chosh of the guests are coming. That means actually it's a procedure which is up to me. The more every single person can come to that place, which, as we said, Mendele Tepske said, I have already a Mashiach by me, but I'm going outside to see if it's out there. It means that's the whole, Mo'anayim uses that concept. Actually, the whole derech of the Baal Shem Tov is actually what everyone should build up his connection to where it is. I explained it. There are 3 types of understanding. There's understand. You understand what I'm talking about? You don't understand what I'm talking about. And there's the part that I can't understand what you're talking about. The Baal Shem, I can understand what he's talking about. That's Eretz. But that's called in Pashtus. But I can't understand it in Pashtus. But if I would try working on Remez, on Drish, on Sod, or the crypto, and all these names that you have these days, you show me the whole.
And the blockchain.
No, I'm talking about what you're doing. The language of the codes. Okay, so for me it makes no sense, but that doesn't mean there's no sense behind it. That means there's certain things that there's a sense behind it. What we're talking here now is also a certain remez that a Koach gave the time to understand the Amina. You should be able to understand it, that there is a certain phase how to get there. But at the end of the day, there is no reasoning. You just have to take the facts that A and I and 1 and 1 is 2 and 2 and 2 is 4. You can't. There's something set away that you're not going to change. The Aleph stays Aleph, the Beis stays Beis, and the Gimel. But in order to connect, but if you believe it, then you can connect to that place. That means in order to get out this koaches, we have a whole stage. We start off understanding. Some with you don't understand, but not that you're not able to understand. If you work hard, you can work out a certain havun, a certain understanding, maybe another code, another languages, whatever you call it.
No one really understands it.
But the end, no one, but Busha calls it to understand that I don't understand. Then you got to the point where the koach is. That means that in order to reach that place of koach, when you understand, you don't understand, you go into a matzah of demir, as we said, of meditation, of quietness. You're letting the procedure happen to understand. The Busha called his derech a minute pshita. You know what? Don't go into understanding, don't into not understanding, don't. You have to work yourself up. Where you're right now, we're sitting here, we're saying a shir. It was called for 8 o'clock, and the shir started at 8:15.
Oh my God.
Huh?
Oh my God. 15
Oh my
minutes
God, yeah. 8. So again, here we're meeting with a tzimtzum. That things were set to start at 8 and started late. And this is every day, it's in the traffic and whatever it is. So the person's always busy. Why didn't it start on time? And you have all kinds of besmedish, and they didn't start davening, but they're looking, they're going to finish on time. They say the Galatzuf was, someone's eating fleischiks and looking at, and I looked, you're now thinking what you're going to eat in 6 hours. hours from now. That means you're not busy in the time now. And we know these days even the food, the digestion of the food needs that mindfulness. Otherwise, the whole body is not doing it, the whole work.
Jetzt, also mit dir.
Yes.
Jetzt the first meeting, then we had to start at 8 and something happened. They were looking for me, but I started to turn it to tzimtzum after a few minutes later.
So every time this comes up, it's there to help you. Also, the Buddha makes it very simple. Let's take now this moment. You were supposed to do something, you couldn't do it, and suddenly you can do it. So instead of being busy, why didn't I do it? And how come I can't do it, and why did I not do it? So here you decide that you're missing the power at 8 o'clock, which you had to get at 8:15 through not getting nervous. If I would get nervous at 8 o'clock, I would say, okay, this is a waste of my time. I'm going to the next channel. Or I mean, sometimes this way, when you go on this derech, you're up there. You have to prepare yourself. You have to know what you're going to say. And you have about when it comes to day one, you come to that examen, you can know everything, and it just disappears. But that disappearing is, as Buddha had a Talmud that came in and said, the Buddha, they're inviting me to a convention to talk. And they want me to talk about the derech of the Buddha. So Buddha told them, what's the problem? Go. But I have to prepare myself in this. Yeah, you can prepare yourself. You cannot prepare yourself. Just go. Son, he went. He got there. So it's 20 people, 30 people, so a few hundred people. 30 rabbis are going to speak. He's one of the rabbis. So they call him up to talk about the derech from Buddha, and he just lost it. So he reminded himself of what from Buddha. And said, the Melech says, with davening, we say it every day, Hashem, Sefusai, Tiftach, Ifi, Yagit, Hirusecha. The Melech says, everything that I prepared myself, and everything that I know, and all my amina, at the end of the day, I have to get that strength from you. Because every second you're giving me a breathing, every second you're giving me a Chadash B'tiva B'chol Yom Tov, every second you're giving me a new pulse of life. So actually when I'm going to be talking, it's your talking. It's Hashem, because Baruch is the one that's talking. If he get to the sech, whatever I'm saying, it's you. And he finished it and got off the stage and ran away. After a few days, he finds one of his friends who will tell you don't believe it. All the 30 rabbis were talking over an hour, each one of them. I don't even remember what they were talking about. It was so boring. You're the only one that spoke a minute. I remember exactly what you're talking about. That means when sometimes you say it from a place that you're connected to. So the koach that comes out together with that is much more stronger when you say it from a place that you want to connect. You're only connected to the paper in front of you. And it's also very good. But sometimes a person has to use the connection, which you can prepare the papers, but things start working and you get out new stuff. And also the ones that are out there, everyone hears what he has to hear. You hit it on the nail, and that someone wasn't able to hear it. So let's start summing things up. So spreading out too much. Yisrael. Where did Yisrael come into the arena? Klal Yisrael went through the procedure actually of savlanut from Avim Avinu through Yitzchak to Yankov, through the 70 nefushes, the 210 years in Mitzrayim. Vayah b'sivloisom, says the Tver Shloimeh. You're doing a wonderful job of savlanut. When it comes the day you have to leave Mitzrayim, you get it. It's yours. And how do I know if it's mine, if I got there or didn't got there? If the goyim will start coming, and Kriyas Yamsuf comes, Esa Makas comes, the whole world is busy. Trump said like this, and this said like that, and we got it. People understand already how much we are, and you know it's working. 12 Zeiges, Freitag, Shabbos, but it's going to happen. And things didn't happen. Same thing was by Kriyas Yamsuf. Things happened. Everybody saw the Kriyas Yamsuf. All the waters in the world, people were always busy, all the headlines and etc. But came to Maisa, nothing changed. Kimet Sekrichnaps an altar, Kohen Midian. Yisra is the only one from the whole thing. Hashem was happy. I got it. It's working. it's wonderful. Now everybody go out. Moshe Rabbeinu, go in. It was such a big simcha that Yisra came. Why? Because we're working on this project for 2,000 years to get there, and the thing is working. Says this Fasemis, we have a machlokes of Noach came before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah. He says, it's not a machlokes, it's the same Noach, nothing changed. It's just his IQ and his EQ from when he came, and he went through the Matan Torah. So it was a new Yisra after Matan Torah. It's the same name, but I'm not the same person that I was before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah, as we said last starting. So Avrum Avinu says, "Vayom Hashem Avrum." Noach, we find a lot of times. Right now, it is type of Avrum, but you have to go through the whole procedure to come to Noach. The same thing is Noach. The same thing is Yisro. If Yisro wouldn't come before Matan Torah, the more you're dragging it out, the more you're going to have to work more. So Yisro was the one that came, so he got into Cloud Yisro. The Goyim will come, you forced Cloud Yisro. Why did you force them? I didn't force them. It's a procedure. You were able to get on the wagon together with Yisro, but you weren't on the wagon. So you'll have what you have. You'll be able to say the Shabbat Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, but to go further, you cannot go. As a male, this coming back to the Mahalach. Mahalach is once a person has to go through, get that Koach Hapoel, the Nifl will call it. It's hard, it's terrible. You cannot take it. It's just like cutting in your whole. In a busa achai, we call it. You don't understand. You don't know when this thing is going to end, and you have no idea what's going to happen. But the more you're going to keep yourself from getting into anger, the more you're going to be yourself to be there, the more you're going to connect to yourself, then that action will actually help. So that is the whole koach that the Torah is telling us this week. Before Matan Torah, there was a bezdin, and this week we have again a bezdin. We're talking about mishputim. Says the Sfasemis, you all the time have to check yourself. Before Matan Torah, you see something is going wrong. See what did you do wrong or right. You're ready to hear what wrong or right. Says the Kotzke, they tied around the head to listen what the Bunsham is going to say by Kabbalah Satoir, and I said, Lo signal, Lo sidzach. He didn't say anything special. Then first you need the IQ, will call it, to work it out in such a way that you're connected. Once you're ready for that, we're not finished. Now comes the EQ, Eved, Shomrim, all this stuff that you start handling with money. And there's a lot of EQ out there. Mm-hmm. And if you're not ready to work also with the EQ, you're going to mess it up. That means every time a person has a nesoin that you have to go through, either an IQ, EQ, you have to niba chazdachu b'tachti. I believe that you have it. And yogal libi b'shir secha, says Rashi, I'm happy. I'm able to thank you now already that I know it's coming. How do I know it's coming? From the hardship that I have. I know that every hardship shows me there's a potential and it's opportunity, and I don't get broken from it. Why? Because the more is more yugali b'shiyasechu. At the end of this, the Shoiv Rebbe used to say, according to the Agmas Nefesh that he has on Friday, he knows the Sargoyis Shabbos get kimen. Questions?
You also have to put this down in
that you do. I'm very
have to write it down.
Geulen, Mashiach, it's
Recording stopped.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you very much.